And welcome back to Mizzou Hockey TV. My name's Luca Vitale. Joining me today, Jack Dobbs. Jack, how you doing today?
Good, very good.
So first things first, what I like to do with everybody, Nick's done it, Tanner's done it, so now it's up to you to now continue this. Go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself for the fans.
All right, my name is Jack Dobbs. I'm from Kirkwood, Missouri. I played for 2 years at Kirkwood High School. I did not play really any sort of like AAA hockey or anything like that out in the St. Louis area. I just played club, and then when it was time to come to Mizzou, I tried out for the team here, and I had some very good training in my past with Bruce Racine, who's a former NHL goalie. So I was able to take my training here and really focus on hockey heavily, and hockey really became an outlet for me to express myself, and I've been with the team and trying my hardest to win and compete at this game, and doing what I love for the past 2.5 years about, and we've had a lot of success here, and it's been a wild ride to see how this team has come from like really humble beginnings to like now we're recruiting really top level talent, which is really interesting and cool to see.
So 2 follow-up questions for that. How long have you been playing hockey?
I've been playing hockey competitively since I was 13. I grew up skating, and I learned how to play goalie when I was really little, but I didn't really play competitively until I was 13, and then I played like Bantam hockey. I played Bantam AA, and then just went to high school, played varsity high school up in St. Louis, and the St. Louis hockey scene has really exploded in the past few years, and I got to really fortunately be a part of that time when the Blues won the Cup, and hockey was really crazy, so the high school hockey in St. Louis has definitely exploded, and I was kind of a part of that, and that was really cool. And then coming here after that was obviously a huge experience.
What I do want to talk about, so you answered my follow-up question, so I appreciate that. What I do want to talk about is, before we get to the Ole Miss series and sort of talk about the team as a whole, I talked to Tanner about this, and whenever I have a goaltender on this show, they have to show me their goalie mask, because that's one of my favorite things is, so Mika Kiprusoff, remember Mika Kiprusoff on the Calgary Flames back in the early 2000s?
Oh, yeah.
One of the coolest goalie masks I think I've ever seen. You're a Blues fan. You saw Curtis Joseph's goalie mask.
Oh, yeah.
So sort of, let's get that goalie mask out there. Just go ahead and get it out and show the camera a little bit of that. Let's see this. So let's take a look at this. So I got to admit, this is really cool. So Tanner has a way different one. I like yours a lot. I love this tiger thing. Kind of gives me Tuukka Rask sort of vibes with the Bruin on the top. Mm-hmm. And then we got the Tigers on the side, 2 M's. I like this. So let's just sort of go through this little by little. So what's the story behind this?
Yeah, so like I said, I played in high school, and I knew I was going to come to Mizzou afterwards, and my parents were fortunately enough, as a graduation present, were like, hey, we'll get you a mask. And also, it's not just for show. This mask has saved me from so many concussions, I have to assume, because I got a lot of concussions in high school, and ever since I've had this helmet, I haven't had one. So it's just a superior made helmet on the inside, but also on the outside, I worked with a pro mask designer from Pro Mask, is the name of the company. And so I worked with Matt at Pro Mask they made me first a super high quality mask, and then we went through a bunch of designs to paint it. I sent him a bunch of Mizzou logos and a bunch of Mizzou symbolic things and imagery that he then kind of compiled. And I am a huge cat person. I love cats. So I knew when I was playing for the Tigers that I would have to have the cat on full display. The cat's name is Simba. It's a tiger.
Lion King?
Yeah, it is. But my cat growing up, his name was Simba, and then he passed away actually about 1.5 years ago. So then dedicated the tiger there to Simba. And then just the 2 Mizzou logos I like the most, the oval and the M. And it was Matt's idea to really get a design the tiger got a hold of the mask and ripped it apart. So that's why we have these claws coming down on the side, and we got the mask all ripped up in the front. And yeah, that's really it. I really like the tiger design. It's coming at you. And it does remind me kind of like the old Cujo mask with the whole mouth around the whole mask there. Then I grew up a Cujo fan because my dad was a huge Cujo fan. My brother's actually named after Curtis Joseph, his middle name at least.
That's really cool. So before we move on, I just noticed this, the sort of Mizzou quad sort of skyline, the columns and Jesse, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that until right now.
Yeah. So then the back plate of a goalie mask is super important. Usually, a lot of guys in the NHL and a lot of guys like in college at really high levels use the back plate as kind of like a call to their hometown or where they came from. But I feel really at home here in Columbia, and so I have the Columbia skyline with Jesse Hall and the columns coming up with like a sunrise in the background. I kind of have like a rising sun design in the background. Obviously, we got the national championship sticker because we have to. Farmhouse is the fraternity I helped found here on campus, so I had to get the farmhouse shield on there, and then of course name, number, all that.
That's really cool. So I'm going to let the fans take a vote, and they can like your mask better or Tanner Richardson's. Well, I think I'll let them take a vote. I mean, I have yet to figure which one I like better, but we'll figure it out. All right, so let's move on to just a little bit more about you and just this goalie tandem of you and Tanner. I got to admit, last year, I felt like it was more of a 1-2 situation, 1-2 punch. You were number one and Tanner was number two, but this year, it's almost like it's 1A, 1B sort of thing. Would you agree with that?
I mean, yeah. I think it's always been 1A, 1B between us two, honestly. I mean, Tanner he's always been a great goalie, but he's really, really improved the last year or so. I mean, the last year I felt like, it wasn't 1-2. It felt like it was 1A, 1B because he was right there too, and he won a lot of big games too. But that being said, like for me, I still work just as hard, and I work harder, honestly, than I think a lot of people in this whole league. Than to work out every day, to stretch every day, yoga, meditation, like hand-eye coordination drills. It's a lot of work to be a goalie, and I think I know how much it takes, and I work very, very hard to do that. So I think this year we've come out and Tanner's played amazing. He's got 2 shutouts to start the year. And I've played in some games I think have been very difficult, very challenging. If you look at the score sheets, I think between the 3 games I've played, I think we've been probably killing for 30 or 40 minutes, which has been rough and a lot of 5-on-3 opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I think, Tanner and I have both said I think we're the best goalie tandem in the league. And we've felt that way for over a year now. And it's just now showing in the level of competition that we have for the position. There's only one net for us to play for. But I think, either way, either one of us, the team is going to have an excellent chance to win. Of course, I'm me, and I think that I'm going to try my best to be the best goalie that I can possibly be, and I know how good that is, and I know what level I can play at when I'm at my best and the team's playing at their best in front of us. And I think that's a national championship caliber level of performance. So I think, goaltending-wise, this team is set up for success for a very long time. And in the near future as well.
That's awesome to hear. So I do want to mention this. Tanner was on this very show earlier this month, and I asked him the exact same question about the goalie tandem, and this is what he had to say right here.
In the ACHA, you need 2 goalies to really bring it home for the team. You need to have a great performance on Friday and Saturday as well. And, without both of us, we would not be in the position we are.
All right, so that's what Tanner had to say about your guys' goalie tandem, the 1A, 1B sort of combo. What do you have to say with Tanner's responses?
I mean, he's absolutely right. For this team to have the success that we want to have, I mean, to be quite honest, our expectation is to win every single game, and we mean that. And you're going to need 2 goalies to achieve that level of success and that level of consistency night in, night out. And, I mean, the way that the games are structured, you play 1 game on Friday, you play 1 game on Saturday. It's very hard to play 2 games back-to-back like that as a goalie and to perform at the same level. And so having 2 really, really high-quality goalies is huge for a team in our league, and we're very, very fortunate to have that.
Yeah. So let's sort of go, obviously you and Tanner, you guys know what's going on in that goaltender room better than any of us. So I sort of want to just talk about how do you guys push each other to be even better?
I mean, it's the whole goalie room. It's with Mikey. It's with Winkles as well. I mean, I think the 4 of us, might have the best. Like if you call us like a line mate type of like group. I think we are some of the most cohesive of the bunch. I mean, we're all goalies, so we all kind of have the same quirks and idiosyncrasies that goalies have. But we all drive each other, and I mean, we all like share the nets, and in practice we're constantly giving each other feedback. And like when Tanner and I notice something that like the younger goalies could maybe need some help on, we give them help, and that's just like we want to build the success of the program, because that's all that everybody in our room, all the goalie room cares about, is the success of the program. And for that to happen, we need me to be playing at top performance, we need Tanner to be playing at top performance, and we're going to need Jackson, and we're going to need Michael to play at top performance in the future. So it's all very team oriented and team driven, and it's a very positive environment to work in.
Yeah, so you guys are 6 games in now, and you and Tanner both have 3 starts each. Mm-hmm. So keeping that in mind, I want you to sort of just talk about, sort of assess your personal play. How would you assess your personal play with 3 starts in?
My personal play, I definitely feel like I have room for improvement. I think I've played well, and I've played well in each of the games. I think statistically, like I said, because of the penalties and things that we've been taking, I think I'm not where I want to be numbers-wise. But overall, I mean, I've made some incredible saves, and I've had to make some incredible plays to get the boys out of it in a few occurrences. So I think I've played well, but I do think that I have another gear, and I'm finding that stride. I was dealing with some like equipment issues earlier this year. I got new skates, I got new pads, so like I feel much more comfortable out there on the ice. So I think my skill level is only going to increase as we go on and I get more comfortable in them. But yeah, so I think it's been a good season so far, and obviously we're winning, and that's the most important thing. But me personally, I know I got more in the tank, and I know that that's going to be very good when we get to the end of the year. And everyone's going to be really happy about that.
Well, that's good to hear, because the dog days have yet to show up, so that's good to hear.
Right. Well, for me, it feels like they've already been here, so.
So let's sort of
just 6-0 and say that.
So let's sort of transition to the team as a whole, right? I mean, anyone that watched this team last year, we're talking this moment of time, this time last year, so sort of mid-October, late October-ish. This is a complete different team if you really look at it. I mean, last year you guys opened against Missouri State. You guys split. Then you lost to Drury, and then you guys swept Kansas at home. So sort of that's where you guys were. This year you swept ISU, Ole Miss on the road, and then you swept SLU at home. So if you really look, even the score sheet shows it. This is a way different team than last year's, personnel-wise, and even how you guys look on the ice. So let's just sort of talk to us about how is this team different compared to last year's?
I mean, I think one thing that's good that stayed the same is the level of brotherhood and camaraderie that we have, and that has been kind of a key to our success, is that we've been able to up our skill and up our intensity and our willingness to work, but also maintaining the level of like camaraderie, and like the morale stays high, which is very important for the team. But what's changed is, I mean, I think everybody saw last year, and last year was just an opportunity for everybody to see how good this team can be and how big hockey can be here at Mizzou, and that really drove people. So the biggest difference is just the drive that people have to compete, to show up for these late night practices, and to give your all, and to keep doing that, and to do that in every game and every shift, day in, day out. And yeah, so I think the energy is higher. I think, obviously we have some big new talent and some new skill that is incredible, and is scoring, like you said, top line 64 goals in 6 games. It's crazy. Yeah, that's been the biggest difference, obviously, is the skill. But the fact that we've been able to keep that same vibe going throughout the year has been why we've been able to have the consistency of success. Because it's easy to win on Friday, it's easy to blow a team out that first day, but it's coming back the second day when you know the game is going to be a gong show, and coming in and knowing and what you have to do to win, and that takes a mental aspect of the game that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that top line, and we're going to get to that. 64 points. Goal, that would be
points. That would be nuts.
Yeah. Shell. I mean, you guys in franchise mode and with the 64.
I mean, they'll get there. They'll get there.
I mean,
it's coming.
They're on pace. They may be on pace. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything could happen. So with that being said, I sort of want to talk about the roster turnover. You guys saw Henry Caston, Jacob Caston, Brett Martin. Those are three names that departed from the program last year. They graduated and all that good stuff. You guys bring in a bunch of freshmen like Aaron Hemmer, Andrew Knapp, J.T. Baker, Grant Bader. I mean, these are names that are brand new, and it seems like to anyone that has really watched you guys or even analyzed you guys are gelling really early together. There's not so many growing pains to the naked eye. Can you sort of explain how'd you guys gel so quickly?
I mean, I think that really just starts with, as a team, we try to do as many events together as we can, and our group chat is active every single day, just trying to get the guys together and to hang out, and we are really truly a group of friends that do play hockey together. So that really, really helps a ton for us. And then that, just exacerbates the success that we see, and it also eliminates any of the growing pains, like you said, from losing Marty and the Castons. I was really worried personally losing them because they were just big locker room guys, and they were guys who were big for the culture of the team. But fortunately, the guys in my grade and Nick have really stepped up and facilitating that culture for these younger guys, and these younger guys have come in and really drived with that and really helped. So it's been both ways. We've been reciprocating just good energy both ways between the new guys and the old guys, and everybody's focused on winning, and that makes it easy. When everybody's focused on winning, and there's a carrot that's dangling right in front of us, and we can see that win it's right there, and that national championship we feel like is right there. So that keeps us very driven and very on the same page.
Well, you guys are very focused on winning because the record says so, 6-0. And was keeping that in mind, what are your guys' strengths and capabilities just moving forward?
I mean, our strengths is, first and foremost, our offense and our physical strength. I think that there's not a lot of teams that we play that are bigger than us or stronger than us. I think we're really one of the biggest and strongest teams in the country physically, and that helps in all aspects of the game, offense and defense. Offense, obviously, we have the offensive firepower in Napspols and Danny to field the whole team in that alone, in that top line, and there's more depth throughout, and the depth scoring has been crazy for us too. So our whole team, top to bottom, is going to score goals. I think the biggest fight for us mentally is to stay in every game, not to get, when we're blowing out teams, they get upset obviously, and they try to do the chippy little stuff, the slashes after the whistle, the holding onto you while you're skating by them because you're way faster than them and you're blowing by them. And that's the stuff that we're having to compete with, and that's the biggest thing, is not playing down to teams that do that against us, and to make sure that we're still playing our game. And I think that's the hardest part of that, is not taking penalties and staying sharp in the defensive zone. I think those are the two things that go first when your mind goes into a game. You stop marking your man in the defensive zone because you're tired or whatever, or you take a dumb penalty because you're tired or your head's not in the game or you want to chirp somebody. And so as long as we stay out of those two things, I really think we will continue to dominate every single team that we see. I think that we will continue to see the type of scores that we've been putting up, and I think you're going to see quite a few more shutouts out of me and Tanner. So.
Yeah, it's looked really good. Thus far, I got to admit, it's looked phenomenal, both on all three phases, honestly, offense, defense, and goaltending. So it's honestly great to hear and just see as an individual and even fans. I mean, I'm sure they've loved seeing what they saw with the SLU series. I mean, it was something great to see. Keeping that in mind now that you guys have been off for a couple of weeks, there's been a short hiatus, and since the Ole Miss series, you guys have been able to practice and sort of get a little bit healthier, and with Purdue at the end of the month, how do you guys sort of keep that momentum going?
Yeah, well, I think the break's been good for us, honestly. We had quite a few guys get hurt on that last series, so this just 3 week span just to get guys to physically heal up has been nice. But also for the guys that haven't been hurt, I know we've been able to work out harder, we've been able to work out more, we've been able to practice harder in practice. So it's just nice knowing that you got the weekend to rest up, to where you can really, really, drill yourself hard in practice, and you're not worried about leaving gas in the tank for the weekend. So it's been good for us to have this break to kind of have a mini training camp again, where we're really focusing on the minor aspects of our game, but also pushing ourselves very hard. And then also continuing to like get the time off from games where you can actually work out and work your body in ways that you're not worried about messing up your performance in a game later. So this break has been huge, and I think you're going to see our continued success come against Purdue.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned that you guys have been able to have this sort of mini training camp again. And obviously with a lot of series coming up, I mean, October and into November, there's a lot of series coming up. So with that in mind, what are some of the things that you guys have maybe cleaned up or fine-tuned at practice?
Definitely our breakouts, I think, have been a focus on practice over the last couple of weeks. Really getting that center low on our breakouts and making sure that we have layers of support coming up. So, because I think when we're blowing out teams, sometimes we have a tendency to pick up some bad habits, and one of the first bad habits guys tend to pick up is like once we get the puck in our zone, they just leave the zone to try to go score a goal. And so we've been really working on staying low, staying low in our zone and providing support and moving up together as a team, and that way you have layers of support, options on offense. It's just a better way to do it all together. And that's really been our thing. I mean, like I said, we're putting up the skill level and the numbers that we're clearly something's working. So there hasn't been much to work on other than just continue to just polish up the very little minute things, like just making sure we're hitting our passes, making sure we're playing good fundamentals, and we're not picking up bad habits from these teams that we're blowing out. But that's been really all. I mean, we haven't had to do much beyond that.
So, speaking of numbers, like you said, let's take a look at this first line, shall we? Andrew Knapp, Nick Spolik, and Danny Rudman. I mean, I'm not the best mathematician there is out there, but that is 64 points if you add all that up in 6 games. Can you sort of talk to us about the force that they are on this ice? How are they such a force that it seems like they just keep going? They just keep getting better, and just no one seems to be able to stop them.
I mean, I have a nickname for them, all 3 of them. It's the Psychopath Line, because all 3 of them are such driven and focused people, and I mean, I'd say that with the best meaning in the world, because they're such driven and focused people that as soon as once they hit the ice, Danny, Knapp, and Spoles, they're locked in. They're locked in ways that usually you only see goalies get locked in, to where like they're hard to talk to, they're kind of spacey, but then they go out there and they're passing like tape to tape with like laser passes to each other, and then of course they set each other up for goals. And all 3 of them are such great playmakers and shooters that, I mean, if any 3 of them get into any sort of configuration in the offensive zone, they can probably find each other, hit each other, and then someone's going to put one bar down, honestly. Like, it's just that easy for them with the skill level that they're playing at, and it's because of how much focus and how much dedication they have. And then that shows in practice, too, is that they're the same way in practice, and in practice it's really fun playing against them because it really pushes me to be better, and that's really special when you have a line that's like really, you feel like you get better every time you play against them because they're that level of quality.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Mizzou Hockey TV. Be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website. My name is Luca Vitale, alongside me, Jack Dobbs, and we'll see you next time.